for yours. I'll just give my speech. Keep working. I have a speech on sports. All right, sports at their essence are much more than just physical contests. They are a reflection of our deepest values, our drives for excellence, and our need to connect with others. Through sports, we express our desire to push boundaries, test our limits, and strive for something greater than ourselves. Yet in this pursuit, it is not just individual achievement that defines us, it's the power of teamwork that elevates the experience into something profound. What makes sports unique is the way they combine individual effort with collective unity. Am I giving this speech?
Yeah.
Thanks for catching.
I was gonna say.
No, listen. Alright, so don't have this speech.
I mean, you could
Fucking
like,
take it.
you could read that off the dome, though, off the dome. It was this speech. Yeah, off the dome.
Hey, words are powerful, right? Words can change people's lives, and most importantly, changes your lives. Right? Words are visual. The words that you speak in some way mentally you see visual. So if someone has a limited vocabulary, we can see how limited they are in their own thinking. Right? Someone has worked on themselves to create more of a robust set of language to use. We can see that they have an expansive mindset. You can really gauge on how people feel and think about themselves with their limited use and also how they speak on themselves. We tend to manifest our thoughts, right? As a man think of, is the old saying. Right? They're powerful. They can transform lives. So for all of you, I've kind of analyzed you. Right? See what's going on with the wheels, the gears spinning in your mind. Right? The observations I've made. And I think you all have a lot of capabilities. A lot of great capabilities. And each in your own way. Maybe I could talk about that later. Maybe I'll go through each individual to see what the strengths that I see. My observation. So think about that. Are you really fostering some sort of behavior that creates more of a broad language so that we can express it better to other people? Right? You may say the limited of your own achievement is the fact you can't break through the wall of communicating with the right people. Maybe you feel comfortable just communicating with certain types of people, but that will be the limitation of your own achievement. That's about as far as you'll get in life, right? So for me, I don't think I had any kind of special skill or anything like that. I think as a circumstance, me being the youngest of 11 kids just allowed me to just sit around and observe people. Right? I think that was probably one of the greatest benefits I had. The other thing too, I'd say probably a great benefit was having an open mindset. I never really pigeonholed myself to say, I only should hang around these types of people. John should talk to these people. Right? I have all the answers, right? My perspective is the best perspective. My way of thinking is the way to go. I never thought that. Right? I always knew that there's a high limitation of knowledge and that human beings never have perfect information. Something I always consider. Right? You have the best information at the time that you have it. You make decisions based on that. Later on, you find you probably have made way better decisions, but it doesn't matter. That's just the information you have at that time. Right? So, try to be a little bit introspective, and you have to motivate yourself. This is speech communication class, so really the emphasis is just not necessarily on speech, but just how to talk to others, but most importantly, talk to yourself. Right? There's a voice inside your head constantly talking to you. You're like, man, that voice, either that voice is really intelligent, and I listen to it, You gotta feed it. You gotta read books, you gotta learn everything. Start learning things that are uncomfortable for you to learn. Say the most impactful transformation in terms of the way that I thought was start being obsessive about philosophy. Right? I was like, hey, there's all these different fields for me to study, but the thing is, if you don't have the principles of how things actually operate in that field, you can never really know anything or master that field. Okay? So you have to ask the big questions first, a philosophical mindset. You know, that means you question everything. Hey, what's the meaning to this existence? There's no meaning, why are we here? Right? Right, well, maybe the meaning is we make the meaning. That might be the closest answer to anything truthful. Right? We make the meaning of our own existence. When we no longer have meaning, then that's a huge problem. Right? So yeah, make sure you're feeding that inner voice inside of you by talking to people, interacting. You're gonna learn more from other people than you're just gonna learn on your own. Right? So try to engage with distinct individuals who are not like you. Right? Who are not like you. You can learn something new. Engage with people who are like you. It feels good. Right? More like hanging out, playtime. But I don't think you grow. Right? I don't know if you necessarily grow with being around people who are just like you all the time. I think you'll just be just as limited as they are. So tell me, what are some things you're doing right now in your life that you're kind of nurturing? Your sense of well-being, your intelligence, your inner self. How are you trying to transform yourself right now? What are some things that you're doing? Nothing transformational? There we go, right? You say, how to go, I transform my body, and when I stop, I'm feel like crap, right? You watch debates, why? Beyond entertainment, what do you get from it? Yeah, you're like, hey, multiple ideas on the same subject. Think about it, we don't have that many what we describe as laws in life, like laws of the universe. It's only maybe a handful, you can name, that we would maybe say absolutes in the theory of gravity, like gravity's still a theory. We haven't figured that out. The fabric of space, like what do you mean the fabric of space? Like where we moving through a blanket, or it's like a trampoline, we're sitting on top of it, it's all around. Right? We don't even have that information. We don't even know that. But yet we're so certain about maybe like certain aspects of things we should do, who we should be, and fundamentally, I don't think we're authentic to ourselves. Right? I think we may be upset that we're not living up to other people's standards, some ideal that you have from somebody else, or something you observe, or somebody wants to be. Right? The best, I'm telling you, the best form of communication you will ever see anybody express is being authentic. The best communication is talking like you, not talking like somebody else that you think you should talk like. Right? It's like talking like you. Literally, I've talked like this since I was like 5 years old. I'm literally the same person. Right? Besides whatever accolades and achievements and money and stuff. That doesn't even mean much to me. Because I also know too that that has a short lifespan. Hey, you get the cool car, you drive it for 2 months, and now you like whatever, it's a car. You want to get it out. Right? It doesn't satisfy emotionally, it's not permanent. You get bored of everything. Right? Hence why the billionaire kills himself. He's bored. Hence why people like Diddy do the crazy stuff they do. You're like, what happened to you being normal? I got bored. I already did everything. Right? You gotta have something inside you that grounds you to satisfy emotional needs, is the way I need to go on an evening. Who else? Working on something transformational for your life right now. Remember the limitation of ideas. Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook in college as a freshman at Harvard. Everybody else was out partying and doing stuff. He was in this dorm. And he was like, oh, I have this idea. I'm going to work on this. And how much? $100 billion worth? They're like, well, how did he do it? He used the people around him who are just as intelligent or even more intelligent. He stole some people's ideas, though. Right? But you have the opportunity now to be like, hey, this is probably one of the few times in life you'll ever be surrounded by people who are highly intelligent, that are not working, who are unemployed, they got a lot of free time. You're like, man, we could all start building our businesses. Right? Or you can say, hey, I just go to college. Like, man, that's a limited view. That's a lot of time to have that limited view. That's a lot of time when you're there, just what? Working on papers and stuff. Right? You say, hey, I could get together all the football players, and I don't know, we're starting an app based on sports. We're starting next ESPN, better than ESPN. Right? Don't let it limit you. Don't just focus on what you're focusing on. Have some other things that's transformative. Back there. Yeah, and that's excellent, right? You're like, hey, I'm studying to see what do they do that I don't do and how they're able to do it, right? And maybe you're not able to replicate exactly what they do. They got their own physical build and skills, right? But you can observe because it helps you predict, right? We said life, good predictive value, lessens your anxiety. The people who make speeches, or the people who are uncomfortable, when we say they have high anxiety, why? The next second is unpredictable. That's uncomfortable. Don't like to be in front of you. The next minute is unpredictable. That's called anxiety. You're trying to predict it. But confidence, you're kind of like, I don't care about the next thing. Right? This moment is the only moment that we have. Trying to think, who could I commemorate? I don't have really a speech, but maybe I'll tell you about my father, right? And I'll tell you about my mom too, both great people. Mom's born in 1935 in southern Mississippi. She is the oldest of two children. She came up to, I believe, Gary, Indiana first, and then Chicago. She was married to, so mom has 11 children, right? She was married to the first set of kids' dad, right? Very abusive in a lot of ways, decided to never ever get married again. She worked for Marshall Fields. You went to Bill Marshall Fields? Right, and she did a lot of great things. But she's the one that actually kept around, she was in nursing school and stuff like that, but she's the one that actually kept around encyclopedias, dictionaries, medical books, and I'll be honest, I probably only attended about 4 years of elementary school. My sister fudged the records for the rest, because half the time I was out of school. Right, so I only went to I never went to kindergarten, so from first grade to 8th grade, I probably only attended about 4 years of school. Other times we were moving around, place to place. But mom made it work. She always made sure that she reinforced the education. So even though we didn't have like formal education, we were all pretty intelligent. My dad, on the other hand, migrated from, well, his dad migrated from Sicily. They stayed in New York City. Dad started linking up with the Italian mafia, right? And then he came to Chicago later on, started some businesses here, pastor, so he always business-minded and earner, made a lot of money. Well-known. And I would say pretty crafty guy. It's almost like Batman. Right? My dad had an ink pen that was a gun. Right? And this stuff is kind of bad stuff to teach a kid. But at the same time, it taught us how to survive in any environment, almost like military mindset. And it helped me build a lot of my confidence that I have now, having that type of dad. Even though dad was involved in, let's say, criminal activities, he taught us ways to survive and how to like put things together to make it work for your own survival. An interesting guy. But I'm happy that I grew up from a multicultural family. I have a brother who's Korean. My dad's last wife was Korean, my brother's Korean. It's completely Korean. Right? So that's your brother, yeah. My dad's first wife is Polish, so I have a Polish brother. He's Polish and Italian. Right? Black brothers and sisters, people married, Hispanic, all sorts of things. So I'm glad that I had that experience, and that actually allowed me to be a well-diverse, well-rounded kind of cultural individual. So I would say that is kind of my commemorative of things for that. The coolest thing that Dad had, he had this explosive device, and if you slap on a hub, it's magnetic. You put it on a hubcap, and turn on the car slower. Right? And the mom used to use that a lot of times. Yeah. One of the worst things he used to do or have us do was rob drug dealers. But yeah, and so you know, yeah, I actually experienced a lot of really bad stuff. In my 20s, I was reckless. Yeah, so I definitely been shot at and also pretty stuff. And even in high school, I mean, I hung around gangbangers and drug dealers, but I never really participated. I thought they weren't that intelligent. Because all of them were going to jail and caught doing stuff, you know? So I would hang around people, but I was always do my own thing. I was always going to do my own thing. All right, who's commemorative speeches? Let's go.
Jeremiah's able to go first.
All right, let's go, Jeremiah. What would you like as a background? Jeremiah? Background.
2016 Odell Beckham Jr.
You did this?
I'm gonna take a picture of
Nah, that's prime OBJ. And he is a rookie. That is in that picture. He's a dog in that picture. Boy,
So-
everybody wanted that picture.
Hey, I had a motherfucker.
All right. Hey, Jeremiah, let's try do something different today. Maybe slow down your pace. Maybe speed up your pace. I don't know, but try something different that you haven't tried yet.
How about I just sit in the back of the class and just narrate?
No.
Hi, my name is Jeremiah, and today I'm going to be talking about Prime Odell Beckham Jr. The reason why I chose this specific 2016 version of this man, because at this time, he had one of the greatest catches in NFL history. At the time, not now, but you know, everybody does it now. But at the time, he was like one of those. And now he was like really injury prone. Like he can't stay healthy for a full season. He gets traded every season. I mean, he chasing that bag. Don't get me wrong. But he was like free agent for like a season and a half. Got picked up by the Rams, won the Super Bowl, got injured in the Super Bowl. At least he won a ring though. But yeah, ever since his days at the Browns, his career just went. And it's like, you know, it's like where's Waller? he's 40, he's still doing everything he was doing, well, not everything, he was doing stuff he was doing when he was in his prime. But it's he's like D Rose. Like, you know how D Rose off the ACL, he's just like, he's not the same no more. I just feel like he should have won more than just one ring. He was just a diva. Like, it was a clip for a virus of kicking the goalpost, kicking like a little kicker thing on the sideline. I forgot what was going on, and the kicker thing flew right back on me. He's like one of the two Asian divas, crybaby, celebrating everything. Be person, I like Megatron. He's quiet, when both everything is shot. But anyways, but RIP Prime Odell Beckham Jr. Me personally, I wanted to be like him at one point, but I instead just playing running back, so now I just want to be like Najee Harris and Saquon Barkley. But yeah, RIP his career.
So you commemorate him? You commemorate this the 2016 version of him,
That
right?
was his prime.
That was prime OBJ.
Once he went to the Browns, his career was over.
That's just crazy.
When was the last game Odell
He went to the Browns and the Rams.
He
the
just
Ravens,
ran.
like,
He
he did a lot.
Who's up next?
Did he play this year?
Yeah, he
Harrison
did.
Clemens Norton?
He was up.
So if I look up his stat, I can look up his stat.
You want a background? Oh, you still got a formative one? Let's save that for last. Do you remember?
Yeah, he's injury prone, that's why.
Yeah.
He can hit on this thing.
Love him.
Yeah, this means a baby.
So what happened?
Lost it all.
That's it.
Yeah, I was looking for it. Anyway, my name is Adam Neves, and today I'm going to tell you about a woman named Nancy Mahmoud Awarai, or my mom. I don't call her by her name. I think that's a little weird. But my mom. My mom is truly, I think, the best person I know. She's my favorite person, and I don't think it's even close. This is gonna sound kind of weird, but I would say by far there's no one as much as I love my mom. Like girlfriends in the past and everything, I always go to my mom first, talk to her first, and she's a big caring person that I will do literally anything for her. And she says she loves me more, but I really don't believe it. I really love her more. I'm taking that. To me, she's probably the hardest worker I've ever seen in my life. She started multiple businesses and made them extremely successful. She has missed on a few, but we don't make all of our shots. But she's probably the hardest worker I've ever seen. She's the youngest of 3 siblings, and she doesn't know how to say no to someone, which kind of a little bit of a fault, but you can't hate her for it. It's my mom. I would say she's the most compassionate person I know. She always cares for people and wants people to succeed and gives people extra chances and does everything for a person that she just met. I would say when it comes along with that as well, she's probably the easiest going person I've met. You ask her what she wants to eat, she doesn't care. She'll eat anything. If you want to ask her what she wants to do, it doesn't matter. Let's do what you want to do. Whatever's going on, she'll say whatever. And I feel like it's a good thing most times because she's very open to trying new things as well, meeting new people, having new friends. So I feel like it's a very great thing for her. She is very successful. Thankfully, along with her hard work, she was one step below vice president of GE, if anybody knows what that is, General Electronics. Yeah, and that was before I was even born. So she's had it on lock for a while. And just to show like what kind of person she is, she got to that point and then got pregnant with my brother and then dropped it completely because she's so family oriented. She wanted to be there for her kids because she knew if she ever got that VP job with GE, she wouldn't be a mom. She wouldn't be the person who she is now, and she wouldn't be doing what she does because she takes care of us more than anything. She says like we're her little boys still. We're both bigger than her, taller than her, stronger, whatever. We're still both her little boys, and I would say she's supportive more than anything. She's had a friend since 7th grade, and they're best friends to this day. And she went to 7th grade for 1 semester, and they're still best friends. They talk every day, and she's extremely supportive of what she does, and it shows in her relationships, it shows in her marriage, it shows in her family relationships because she's so family oriented, and she'll put her like kind of life out there for someone, and wants to give anything in return. So that's why my mom is the best person I know, and hopefully you get to meet her one day. Thank you.
Round of applause for Mom.
I'm gonna tell the next one.
You remember that? Oh, I showed you my dad.
It's almost like, I can't imagine what it is. It's like, every scene I think of that. It's like, There's some good snaps right there.
One old boy.
Zoom in.
That says 2022 or 2023 season.
You can just use your fingers to zoom in on the screen. That's what.
That ain't old.
Let's see, what's your best friend?
It's your 0.63 now.
Explain, bro. Alright, so this like, my speech about like a coach I had, so this is like 4th grade, it was like an A team, down at Lacey, I was out in Lacey. So it was like, his dad, and we Malcolm didn't see her. So they had like the team on the Jets, like an A team. And I played for this like other team, like we was decent, but like, we was like, alright. So we played in their team like 4th grade, we got killed like 30, 40. But I had a good game. So this coach's dad, he recruited me. So like I played with the team. And like I played with him for like all the way up to like 8th grade. We played across the world, played like all the Westerners in the country. We went like 32-0, like all over the world and stuff. So like I just want to like give my speech about him because like I'll say he changed my life and give me like an opportunity to play with him. So.
Did he tell you why he recruited you? What did he like about you? Was it something specific that you were really, really good at? Defense.
Man, you say who? This is the son of the dad.
Okay, excellent. Next up, comment.
background, that biological father is dead from drug overdoses and being in fairly violent gang activity for most of his life after he created me. Trying to find a nice politically correct term there. So once he was gone out of the picture, my mom was 17, desperate, she's a teenage mom, still in high school, trying to figure out what in God's name am I gonna do. So she's living with her family, living with her mom and dad still. And then she started talking to an old boyfriend of hers because, she just needs somebody, and they've been reconnected at a family gathering. My dad is close friends with my mom's family. And so he'd been invited to a big old gathering. I think it was a Christmas party. So about 23 days after I'd been born. Yeah, 23. I can count. But anyway, they met again there, and they started dating again afterwards. Just as, let's see what happens. And another 3 years after that, and they got married. And, at that point I'm 3 years old. What do I know about any of this? All I know is that they told me very early on, I think about 5, that this guy was not my biological father. And they said, but that's not important, because this is the man that loves me. And that's all just, I guess, history getting caught up to speed on why this guy's amazing. Because for everything that father might have done, I know that this one did. Because he is simply a great guy. He's worked so many different jobs. He's a rough handyman for the community. He runs youth soccer. I now have 3 sisters, all kids, of course. His and my mom's. I'm weird. But I've never once thought of him as anything except my dad. And so when I use the term in the same sentence, I'll normally, especially when the context of the speech, I will use dad to refer to him and father to the biological. So I don't have to say biological because that's a dumb word. I don't like it. Anyway, so just everything that this guy does, he's everything I hope to be. Because I've witnessed lots of types of parenting, and I know that I'm not experienced enough in life to say who and what kind of parenting is right. And for different kids, of course, there's always going to be a different method, a different best way to teach them. But the way that he did it is a way that I admire a lot, because he has just an infinite reserve of patience. I have heard him get genuinely angry maybe 3 times, and 2 of those were with his father, who was about as stubborn as he is patient, and which doesn't really go well when they're both very, strong-minded about things. So then one has one opinion, the other has another. The only times I've done that is that, and one time when he went to McDonald's, had a rough day, and they gave him the wrong one. We've all been there, right? That's not getting into McDonald's politics, though. This is just going towards the fact that he's patient, and so when he deals with kids, I know I was not an easy kid, because I'm special. Not like special that I know of, but special. I know that I can be difficult to work with. That's a nice way to put it. But all the stupid little things I did, he would just sit there with me. And he would help me along, show me the right way to do it, and then he would let me learn. They'll, put your finger in the light socket. I've done that. I've done that, stuck my hand in the fire. I kicked a metal pole holding up a ceiling. The pole went out and the ceiling hit. Now, he didn't particularly mean for that to happen, because he was just going to tell me afterwards that if you keep hitting this thing that's holding up the roof, it might come down. That could be rough for you. That didn't end up happening, and luckily all it hit was some of my back. And as far as I know, I'm not crippled. But afterwards, he was scared for a moment, as a parent might be when the ceiling falls down on a child. But he was really good at keeping his composure. And there's the whole thing nowadays of men have to, kind of conceal their emotions, which is kind best thing I wish I would have learned from him. Sadly, I am not good with patience or his discipline in his emotions. But because of how he did that, I was always able to trust that if I go up to him and tell him, hey Dad, I broke up with my girlfriend, he could stay calm. If I go up to my mom, Mom can be like, oh no, you lost it up. And there's gonna be a whole waterworks thing. But I go up to Dad, he'll be like, how did it happen? How do you feel? Do you need anything? Okay. And when I was younger, I always interpreted that as disinterest. He just doesn't care. Because if the guy's just gonna, oh, okay. That's how I always saw it. But now that I've grown to a point where I can look back on this stuff with a certain level of wisdom, I guess, from being alive a little bit longer, I see the fact that this is a guy that threw away, I mean, most of his, or a good chunk of his life to getting with a girl who's had a kid underage, or under, as a minor, and chosen to raise this kid and live with him and treat him like he would treat a biological son in every way. It's kind of hard to be disinterested in that way. You can't raise someone that whole time and not care. So looking back, I realized that without him, I would either not be here today or I would be a much worse person based off of everything I've done. And so I just want to look back and say that my dad is probably the best person I've ever met.
Thank you for sharing, Connor. And compliments, Adam over here, right? Talk about moms when we talk about dads. Right, dads operate off logics, and so, you may be looking for him to get emotional and tell you all the stuff that's breaking up, but dad's kind of like, hey, this is a process, right? And mom's like trying to scaffold the entire process to make sure every second she's there, and dad's like, man, you just gotta go through it, right? Stuff you gotta go through. It is what it is, it's reality of the situation. Who's next?
I got it.
Yeah. Which one is this? What's the you can remember this. So we just what was the other one?
shared, let us carry forward the lessons Rembrandt taught us. To live fully, to laugh at moments we shared, to let us know, to laugh even at the lowest times, and even to think what's really going on in that head of his. And thereon, we stand united, grateful for the time we were given and committed to passing on the light they brought us into the world. In honor of Reverend Brooks, I'm now going to end this in a prayer. Heavenly Father, we come to you in the moment of sorrow, lifting up our beloved Reverend Brooks, who has left this earthly life. We are grateful for the love, joy, and kindness that he brought in our lives. Cover our hearts with your peace and surround us with the warmth of your presence. May Reverend Brooks find rest in your embrace, where there is no pain or suffering, only the light of your everlasting love.
Amen.
Oh, no.
Honor the living legacy of Morris Island.
Bro, it's something else.
Can you clarify for the rest of the class, who are you commemorating?
Morris Island right there.
Who is that? Oh, Brent. I don't know, like,
Bro,
I'm like, who are you talking about?
Morris Island. Morris Island.
Why are you doing that for him?
It was a tribute to
bro, tribute for a person.
Maybe something inside of him died along the way or something.
Okay, bro, we could explain that.
Eternally.
Who was that next?
That's ultimate crazy.
Alright.
Bro, like he could chose like somebody else, bro. You want his money, bro?
Yeah. What do you want as a background, Mike?
What would you wish you had to from me? They were reverend.
Bro, I'll let you know.
Bro, honestly,
Yeah, I was like, what is it? I'm like, who died?
who the hell is
Yeah, I was just thinking who died.
You even know the student's last name.
No, I mean, it's not like it's like Brent Brooks. I'm like, who's Brent? I haven't really, and get a Brent side.
Call me Brent Island, bro. Don't call me Brent Island.
My name's Mike, Adam University, Sean, one of the greatest first basemen of all time, still plays the game.
Okay.
Freddie Freeman. He has been an impact in my life for, ever since I started following him in the Braves. That's going back to the number, I used to play first base as well. I've always modeled my game after him, modeled my integrity and character after him, because he's just an example of who you want to be. He's a good family man. He takes care of his kids. He takes care of things on the field as well. He's one of, like I said earlier, he's probably the best first baseman in the game right now. And of all time. I agree. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Yeah, he's changed how I view life. He's also changed how I play the game. Every time I play the game, I think how can I make you proud? Even though I've never gone. Yeah, I value everything he's done. I try to do his done as well.
Greatest first baseman of all time.
He has the highest award.
Uh-oh. You gonna let Reverend Brooks good?
Bro.
Yeah,
Bro,
no.
according to you, I'm dead.
According to you, I'm dead.
Very much you want to back. You want to think of?
He was, okay, he did 5 home runs in 5 games, yes, I agree with you, he had a crazy World Series.
All time?
Yeah, look at his stats.
He's a dog.
Look at his stats. Tell me I'm wrong.
But you need new computer, bro. You over there looking. I mean, you need a new iPad. Oh my God, so.
You need a new one, bro. That's all bad. See, that's
I just used that one for a year.
that's how you stay rich. That's how you stay rich. Not buying new stuff.
Not buying this stuff.
changed his last name from Weatherspoon to Witherspoon, and he passed on October 29th, 2019, at the age of 77. So, you know, he was a great life considering, you know, he's from Detroit, Michigan. Oh, well, I'm not 77. So family, he was married to Angela Robertson in 1988. He has 2 kids, JD and Alexander Witherspoon. His older brother, William, was a songwriter from Motown. His sister, Gertrude Stacks, was a pastor at Shalom Fellowship International Church. That's a church in Detroit. So career, he actually worked as a model early, coming up. And then during the 60s and 70s, he started doing his stand-up comedy. His first time on TV came in the 70s, appearing on the Barnaby Jones Show. His longest episode TV show was The Wayans Brothers, which stretched from 1995 to 1999. He had a comedy tour in 2008 and another in 2009 with 19 stops. So, you know, he did a lot of stuff, man. He did a lot of stuff. And then, you know, some of the movies that he starred in, Friday, trilogy, you know, everybody watched that. Everybody watched Friday? Everybody had watched Friday, right?
Yeah.
Who hasn't watched Friday?
Whenever we slip it,
Alright, okay. You didn't watch Friday? Never? You never watched Friday? What were you missing out? You're uncultured. You're uncultured. Okay, House Party, The 5 Heartbeats, The Vampire in Brooklyn, The Meteor Man, Boomerang.
Boomerang's not bad.
Oh, of course you said it. It came out in the 80s.
Damn.
Okay, so I got.
You're not gonna write that word.
Alright, so
You get the F on this.
alright, and then I got I kind of sing. I'm gonna put that in a second. Then, you know my source.
Oh, yeah.
You hear something?
No, I'm good.
Oh, come on, bro. What? What? Oh, you go.
What's that for? Protection. Protection? Protection from who? Yeah, Smokey. I got to walk Smokey down to his house. Oh, man. You remember I never lived in this neighborhood, we'll know me a gun to walk down the damn street. Not this around here. Oh no, son, that's not the way it is. You kids have been nothing but punks. 65. So quick to pick up a gun. I'm scared to take an ass with it. That's what makes you a man. When I was growing up, this was all the protection we needed. You win some, you lose some. But you live. You live to fight another day. And you think you're a man with a gun in your hand, don't you? I'm a man without it. Put the gun down. Put the deuce. Now you're a man. Your uncle picked up a gun too. He had to find out the hard way. 22 years old. You got a choice. He's all you need. All right?
Iconic. Bro, that's my speech, man.
All right, who wants to go next?
Oh, that wasn't him, bro.
Next, who's that?
Well, and Adam, though.
All right,
You
yeah.
never watched Friday, bro? You never watched it, bro?
Brand. I'm gonna call you one day on the weekend and I'm just like, hey, go watch it, bro. The whole floor is watching.
He's uncle.
You're gonna be inspired.
Because I haven't watched one movie in my life.
Bro, that's one of the movies you gotta watch, right?
What's in that movie that's like, that I haven't seen, that's like special, the one that I haven't seen on TikTok? I saw Miss Parker.
What you know about Miss Parker? What you know about Miss Parker?
Hey, tell us. My name is Parker. Oh, I know that's a lot of that.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. But you probably met that, you probably met this Parker for real in real life.
Oh, you gotta stop. You mad, just give me that.
My name is Aki, and today I'm going to be commemorating one of the most influential figures in my life, Stan Lee. And I'm going to tell you why he's been so influential for me. First of all, just kind of what the character of Spider-Man meant to me in my upbringing. So, like, I can picture, like, just me as a 5-year-old sitting in front of the big box TV, just watching Spider-Man on repeat. And you can say it's just a movie, and it's just a character, and I thought it was cool, you know, swinging around, that's obviously, but it goes so much deeper than that. His creation of Spider-Man and what it really means, and what it's meant to so many people. He's such a relatable character, and he inspires people to get up every time they're knocked down. And I have Stan Lee to thank for creating that character that's like just meant so much to me in my life and really inspired me, entertained me, all that. And I want to say a quote by Stan Lee. It says, "That person who helps others simply because it should or must be done and because it's the right thing to do is indeed without a doubt a real superhero." So I just wanted to commemorate Stan Lee for that, and just kind of, and obviously he's passed away, so just thank him for all the work that he's done and his impact on my life. Thank you.
Are you familiar with Jack Kirby too?
Yeah.
All right, next. Tom Brady? Who here thinks Tom Brady's better than Joe Montana?
Tom Brady, but
John Brady.
Tom Brady is literally the best QB in.
I do have to say.
How many Super Bowls
defense-
Joe Montana lost?
Lost? How many? It don't matter. I mean, How many times did he get?
That's the thing with Michael Jordan. We say, hey, the difference with Michael Jordan is at the highest level, you never lost.
Oh,
Right? That's a
getting
lie.
the highest
They
level,
like, if you
you lost
lose
the
at the highest level,
so-
your greatness is
Let's
actually
just say-
questionable.
Let's just say Dominic Johnson goes to the NFL. He rushes for whatever thousand yards. He goes to the Super Bowl. He goes to the Super Bowl 2 times in his career and wins 2 times. He got 100% chances of winning the Super Bowl. But then Brent Brooks goes as a linebacker. He goes 8 times, only wins 6. So you say Dominic Johnson is better running?
You're not comparing it.
That's true.
No, I would say that-
Because he didn't lose the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, no, the quarterback is really in control of the game. So the different positions will matter. But we're comparing two quarterbacks here. What do you want? A nice looking house? Just a regular house?
That's an AI.
That's the best I've ever.
That is an AI house.
Alright, so I was gonna first do this on my grandmother, but then I really sat back and thought, it's really just everyone that lived in our house, that really made me to want to say, basically, for, up until like 8th grade, I basically with her. Like on the weekends, I jump up at her house, be with her all day. Some days I'll get there like 5 in the morning, and then from like preschool to 7th grade, my dad was still in the military. So like, he sometimes he wouldn't be home for a couple of weeks. And my mom always was at work at home. So I was always with my grandma and my great grandfather. And then my great uncle and their dog. I was always with them. So like, I just remember her, how kind she was to everybody. So like, for example, there was this homeless guy that would come by our house like every day with his cart. She would always give him money and stuff. And then started to find out that he lived like a block away from Anthony. So he wasn't even actually homeless. So she wasn't rude to him about it. That's how he came. She understood it. Like, I feel like most people are rude to him, but she wasn't. She was still nice and kind to him. Giving anything, obviously. And she just always would forgive everybody in her family, even when people I feel like take advantage of her kindness. She's just always nice to everybody. It's always forgiving people. And my great grandfather, everything that he did for me before he had passed away, he's made me a better person. He's made me away from watching movies and learning about stuff on the news with me all the time. And then spend time with my great uncle before he passed away too. Going on walks with him and everything we did just gave me to money every day. So they basically celebrated me.
Okay, who is next? Who hasn't? You don't know anyone? You want to? Okay. Cause that'll be it for commemorative. Now, we just got a few more informative and one persuasive. And then I'll do a commemorative on the 80s.
Who's that about?
We'll pull up some 80s clips that I could remember. Do you want a background?
No, it's alright. That'll be alright. Hi, my name is Bani, and I'm gonna talk about how
Which one is that? Yeah, hang on one second. Move on to the rest.
We gotta put boy girl to then look for the But boy girl after two.
boy, sorry, I have boys.
Bro, did you know that Delaware has knowledge?
And then next week, I'm gonna mix it up for impromptu, so we'll do some theatrical stuff, some monologues.
Misreported. They went for it, they were like insane with it. Misreported, they're out discussing. Alright, so today we'll be talking about, how Division III baseball works, basically. At the start of the season, all 389 teams will play 50 games in the span of 2 months. All of those games matter because at the end of the regular season, you go into your conference tournament. Those conference tournaments, if you win, you get a spot in the 60-team regional bracket. 19 teams that don't win their conference championship will have an at-large bid for a chance to get into that bracket. So roughly 15% of these Division III schools have a shot at going to region. At the beginning of this time. From there, you have only 16 teams down from 60 gets to go to the Super, and from there, 8 go to College World Series. Now, if you think about it, you have to have a roster of about 50 players for 50 games, so you can have the pitching, have the players through all those games. Because if you end up going to the if you end up going to the College World Series, you play on average 60 games, 60 to 67 games, depending on how long the series goes. So basically, it is very hard as a college athlete to have the mindset to win the College World Series because your chances are so low. From there, I'm going to lead into my persuasive about how hard it is to play Major League Baseball and get to the MLB. There are on average 3.4 million players that do not play that are younger than high school. From there, only 455,000 play high school baseball. It's not easy at all. From there, those 455,000 get narrowed down to 25,000. 25,000 play D1 to D3 baseball. And then from there, I believe it's 0.5% get drafted out of high school and actually play in the major leagues. Out of college, I believe it's around 5% will play straight in the major leagues. So there are 7,000 players that will play on average in the minor leagues, and from there, it'll be 1,200 to make it to the MLB. So you have a 0.1% chance of making it from high school to the major leagues. So the grind you have to go through every day, you have the mindset alone, leads me to believe that baseball is the hardest mentally to play out of every sport if you want to get to the highest level. Thank you.
Mike, do you think because of the sheer volume of players that, you're kind of competing against that makes it that difficult?
Yeah, because you're also, that's just for America. You're also trying to compete against kids from like the Dominican Republic. It's a lot harder than just America.
But what do you think?
So how do you stay motivated as a player to be like, oh man, am I in this to take all make the major leagues one day? Or
It's just
like,
having the mindset you've already provided.
But don't you think that you need no natural gifts to truly play baseball and be good at it? You could be any size, any weight, any height. Yeah, it is. I've seen a 5'7" motherfucker hit bombs. Tupe was
He was at sixth grade.
Yeah, but you're also,
Sixth grade.
you're playing against kids on average, when in 2004,
Like
the average
that.
fastball was 91. Now, the average fastball is 97. That's what, and the reaction time is not.
But don't you think that in baseball, you can fail 7 out of 10 times and still make a Hall of Fame? What do you mean no? You can strike out 7 times and get the ring hits.
Hall of Fame is the hardest Hall of Fame to get into out of the major sports in the US.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
I think baseball, you're easily forgotten, right? There's so many players, like the ones that we remember are the few, right? That excel to that level. Different challenges, different sports, right? We're like, hey, I'll play, let's see, the average career span for an NFL football player.
4 to 6 years. 5 years.
It's like 6 years.
Oh, it's like,
It's like 6
it's
years.
like,
It's 4 to 6 years.
3.5. That's bullshit.
3.5 years, right? So you gave up your body to do all that stuff, so hopefully that you can make something happen.
No way,
All right, good. Mike's got his informative and his persuasive. Okay, you're informative, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably be able to get out here tonight.
Yay!
Okay.
Average is retired so far.
Yeah, hopefully you retire with enough money or invest it probably, right?
Yeah, but they would look up for these like 6 years.
And think about the condition of your body after playing it.
What'd you do, Sierra?
I didn't do anything.
Broke it.
I'm plugging again.
Okay. Okay, so, good evening, I'm Sierra, I'm gonna talk to you about the block grades.
Is your foot hitting any of those cords on
No, I'll be aware of it.
Okay.
I wanna talk to you about steps before our hurdle race, because to be completely honest, I think people are crazy if they don't properly prepare before a hurdle race, because it's a lot more to it than just going to the start line and jumping over the hurdle. And it drove me crazy my senior year in high school, when there was a pole vaulter that would just come to the start line and do that. And I'm like, you are gonna hurt yourself one of these days. So, for basically every track athlete, you start with a warm-up lap. Usually it's around 400 meters, which equals one lap around the track. That's usually how every track athlete, like distance, sprinters, throwers, that's how they all start. And then we do like static stretching, which is not movement stretching, like touch your toes, your hamstrings, things like that, like touch your toes to the left, touch your toes to the right, push them down. These like ones for your quads. It's very important to be like very stretched before you hurdle, because you don't want to have something get tight when you're trying to go over a hurdle, because that's how you beat a hurdle. And then after you do static stretching, you should do dynamic leg, and then the next one you'll go every other. So you go over one hurdle and the other leg going over the other hurdle. After that, you want to do over-unders to where you'll take the first hurdle, same height. Next one, you bump it up a notch, so it's a little bit taller than the other. And you do that between the 5 hurdles. And you go over the first one, you take your other leg, and you go under the hurdle. To really work on that squat to get under the hurdle to go over, and you go through that. And then you'll do your straight legs over to where you'll go on the side of the hurdle and you'll go like this over each hurdle. And then after you do that, you'll do it with your knees to really work on that drive. Once you do that, you do a little trail legs. That really helps with your follow leg, and if your lead leg is pretty strong, but it's the trail leg that is very important, because if you don't come over that hurdle right, like if your foot is straight down, you can hit the hurdle and take it down, and that will make you roll. Or that's basically the main fear. So you want to keep it more horizontal. You want to keep that arrow shape or triangle shape. So you do like trail legs to where you run off to the side. You do like this. Doesn't have to be a run. Doesn't have to be a walk. You can jog. You can walk or jog, and you just go off to the side. You plant your dominant leg in front of the hurdle, and you take your dominant leg and you just go over the side. And you do that a couple times until both of your legs are warmed up to go over the hurdle that way. And then the block starts. It's very important to get out of a block correctly, definitely when you're in a 100-meter race, because you only get a couple steps before you approach that first hurdle. So when you get out of the hurdle, or the block, with the guy that's ready to set and then the gun, you feel like you're falling through your first 2 steps, and then when you look up, the hurdle's there right in your second or third step. So you want to be able to feel like you're falling and get that speed, and then recover really quickly to do your 1, 2, and then over the hurdle. That also can trip up a bunch of people. So it's very important to do a couple of runouts before the race, so you can feel that approach and just get used to it, because if you do it the first time, you're more likely to mess up your steps, and then you're more likely to hit the hurdle or get DQ'd or fall into somebody else's lane. It's usually something crazy that happens in one track meet, and it usually tends to be on the men's side because of how high their hurdles are, and they don't really take proper precautions before the race, including stretching and mobility, because high school guys are going to be high school guys in my experience. And then finally, the last step is striding between each hurdle. There's a I want to say rhythm to 100-meter hurdles, because all the hurdles are set up the same distance between. So hurdlers call it 5-stepping, 4-stepping, 3-stepping, like striding, and that's how many steps you take in, how many strides you take in between each hurdle, and it's like a science. You should be able to hit that every hurdle. I was a solid 4-strider, so I used both of my legs to kind of get my one step down. And the science behind that is if you become a 3-strider, you're probably going to be faster because you're hitting each hurdle in a shorter distance than other people are. Because 4-striders, there can be 4 steps in between. Unless you get pretty fast and there's a lot of contact between it. But normally the goal for a hurdler is to get down to 3 strides, because that's the fastest stride you'll get. And once you master that, then it's just like the little techniques that can help you really kill your time. Thank you.
Very informative. You know anyone who would get down to a 2-stride?
No, I think that's impossible. That's like one step and you're already up.
Are you talking to yourself between strides? Like, are you like kind of motivating yourself? Alright, great. Okay, we got, I think 3 more informative and we're done. Informative. There's 3 more informative to do. Alright, come on.
Let him talk about his shit.
Can I have?
An engine?
Yes.
Car engine?
Yes.
No, sorry.
No.
Buckets. Pumpkin.
Yeah.
Pumpkin.
That's what we do on Monday. That's what we do on Monday.
Pumpkin.
Monday, what time was it?
Yeah.
7 p.m. Monday.
Be there.
South Gym. Be there, be square. Be there, be square.
Oh, all right, okay.
Yeah.
It's not suburban style.
Accordion level.
It's not suburban style.
Lutheran level approach.
Okay, hi. Today, I'm gonna break down the basics of how a car engine works. And to make it a little bit more memorable, I'm gonna give you a nickname that is commonly used on how a car engine works. And the 4 main stages of an engine cycle is suck, squeeze, bang, blow. Is it, okay? Those are the 4 main components. And I swear to you, they all have a real stage, and they all mean a real thing. So first, let's start with the first stage, the suck stage. So the suck stage is how the piston moves up and down. So the suck stage creates a vacuum when it mixes the fuel and the air for the piston through the intake valve. And the mix is essential because it needs the energy later in the cycle. So it's basically, if you think about it, it's like a quick breath in when the engine's going. The second stage, you have the squeeze stage. The squeeze stage is when the intake valve is now closed and it is time to start squeezing the air and the fuel mixture in the actual piston into a tight space, which makes it ready to ignite and ready to be volatile for an explosion that comes next. The explosion is bang. That's when the spark plug fires, creating a little controlled explosion in the little air that was now compressed from the squeeze. And that's what ultimately kind of turns your car's wheels, because that's the explosion that makes it all go. And the last stage is the blow stage. So after the bang stage, the piston moves up again, forcing all those gases out from the exhaust. That's what, like all the gas coming from your exhaust, that's what that is. And then obviously it just restarts all over. Then you go back to that stage. Each piston does that, however many pistons you have, V4, V6, V8s. And each of the pistons do that rapidly, as fast as they can. And stuff like lubrication and cooling systems help cool down the engine to reduce the friction in the actual thing. So, overall, now you guys kind of know this is much more memorable kind of 4-step process and how it ends. Thank you so much.
Alright, 2 more informative blows. You got your informative? What do perfect solution to life, right? Atkins diet, I'm vegan, I'm vegetarian, I'm pescatarian, right? Yeah, keto. Everyone's searching for the perfect solution. Like there is none. Right? Just whatever works best for you. All things in moderation. Most importantly, keep your mind healthy. I think we have one more informative. Who's that? We have one more informative speech to do. Or persuasive. Is that everybody? All right. All right, class. Next week we'll do impromptu, and I'll mix it up. Yeah, impromptu next week. Little theatrical stuff. Maybe we'll do a play one, business interviews, a business pitch idea. Also, let some